Okay, so we are back on our plan of getting ready for Tour de Vic. I don't know who's racing Tour de Victoria. Are you doing the Tour de Victoria, Pat? Yeah? Are you doing the Tour de Victoria? Okay, all right. Still, workouts relevant for lots of your regular riding, but I will be referring today periodically to our crux points. And so we're going to work on a feature climb today that is taken from riding one of what I call the crux points in the Tour de Victoria. So we'll hit that after our warm-up. We're gonna do the next 15 minutes, just structured warm-up, and then we'll get right into that. 4 times this piece. Okay, so make sure you're comfortable. Windows open, fans on. Starting out this first little bit, easy turning over the pedals at 50%, but let's just work on a little bit of leg speed. So from your preferred cadence, I'm right at about mid-90s RPM. You're gonna manage the wattage, trying to keep it down around 50% as we do this, but we're gonna increase in 15 seconds to 100 RPM. Okay, so just bringing it up, watching the gear. I don't want a big wattage output. Back to working on our leg speed. In 2, 1, 100 RPM. Make adjustments on those. Make adjustments on the apps, on the smart trainers. Getting into a nice rhythm, not overcooking it right away. Thinking of a nice, strong center, relaxed shoulders, light on the hands. One of the things we did see all the Olympic racing, lots of different cadences used by our various high-level riders, and we're always wanting to work on our own capacity and keeping as much opportunity to use leg speed and strength as we can by training it. We're gonna make another increase up to 105, adjusting the gear again. So from 100, nice comfortable RPM, up to 105 in 15 seconds. Have a couple people in the studio with me today. It's getting so we have some company, kind of nice. All right, we're gonna go up to 105 in 2, 1, wind it up. And that's just a little increase, 1 pedal stroke every 15 seconds. Tiny little increase, and watching the output. Want it to be nice low output, and just getting that activation going. Really good, everyone. Hold on right there. We're gonna bring it up to 110 next. Should be reasonable for everybody. It is overreaching. When we're in an easy gear, sometimes our cadence on our devices will bob around a little bit. Try not to get distracted by that. You see the number, look away, just go with the feeling of it. The feeling and the rhythm of turning it over. We're gonna bring it up to 110. Coming up in 15 seconds. Have a quick look down. Asking your legs to turn over a little more quickly. In 2, 1, up, up. Don't tense up in your center. Just think about turning those cranks around a little more quickly. Not too high. Don't need to get up to the 115. But I want you to be feeling this. And we always have to keep revisiting it. A little bit of use it or lose it. Keep the leg speed going. Keep this at a minute for me. Just another minute. I find even after years of doing these drills, when I haven't done them for a while, I feel rusty pedaling squares. It's a real reminder that we just have to keep going through these little exercises so we have the capability. You got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Hang out right here. Awesome. Have one of our coaches that likes to say, just think of your cranks being a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter. Mine are already pretty short because I have short legs. 10 seconds. 110. Hold on to it. Eyes up. In 3, 2, 1, and go back to relaxing. Relax cadence wherever you feel comfortable. And then ease it back up to 50%. You'll have dropped your power coming off that by decreasing the leg speed so much. Unless you're on a smart trainer that adjusts. Okay, 30 seconds. Let's just bring it up to 60% now for effort into our actual endurance range, and do that while you're at a preferred cadence again. So I'm just throwing that out as a 90 to 100. I'm just around low 90s, bringing the gear up. Let's feel that for the first little bit. And then I'm gonna have you bring your cadence down, recruiting more of the strength muscles. We're going to do a hill that incorporates a few different elements, including leg speed and preferred climbing cadence, or a nice Crux climbing cadence around 80. So you're not doing big strength push slogs, but still want to get all those big muscles firing and engaged to get ready for the work. 5 seconds. I'm going to have you drop your cadence to 80. All right, bring it down to 80. 2, 1, there you go. And bring your gear back up so you're at 60%. Give yourself a little bit of work behind the cadence. You know how it all goes. Increase your cadence, increases the ratio, and the watts come up. If you keep the gear the same, decrease the cadence, the watts will go down unless you're in a harder gear or on a harder slope. That gets really techy, but you get the gist of it. 80 cadence. Feel a little push behind the pedals now. Thinking about the ankles moving. Thinking about the upper body being relaxed. You should be feeling a little bit more push in the glutes. Glutes, quads in the power stroke. Calves. Then on the way up, you've got the shins, hamstrings, hip flexors. 20 more seconds. You're going to drop to 70 cadence. It's going to be another increase in gear, increase in resistance on some of the trainers. Want to say that? In 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it down to 70 cadence. We're below the climbing cadence we're going to use today, but a little bit more push to just feel the big muscles. Bring that gear in. 60% is your number. Nicely done. Get into that rhythm. Feel it turning around. 30 more seconds. Job, guys. If you do watch some of the track cycling, one of the things we don't always think about when they're playing those cat and mouse games, they have one gear, they're in a big gear. There's over a 40-degree slope on that velodrome. So when they're dropping their leg speed way down to play their little sprint games, there is a point at which you can fall off the track because your speed is dropping below what keeps you up on the banking. So a little bit of a finesse not only in playing the game between the riders, but also managing keeping upright. Okay, from here, I'm gonna have you bring it up in wattage using your gear, holding your cadence at 70, increase to a 7 out of 10 using your gear. Let's try and keep really nice and centered using our core, strong engagement. I know it's an overused concept, but very important. And as you start to fall over the bike, you're not only losing your power moving forward, it's also getting sloppy. All these important stabilizers are not being properly used, okay? So just keep that gear nice and honest. Another 30 seconds. Think about your feet. Think about reaching that whole circle, 360 degrees. Some of us have gotten really good at leg speed and then start to fall apart or feel uncomfortable with pushing a gear. We need to do it all. We need to have all of it in our repertoire. We're gonna do one more thing here. In this structured piece, I'm gonna have you hold this gear and you're gonna wind it up a little bit. So, apps, give yourself a little bit more wattage. 5, 10, 15, throughout the piece that I'm saying up. The other bikes that work more like a real bike will just give you that wattage increase. Just for 30 seconds coming up. All right, from this gear. In 3, 2, up. Work towards the 5 RPM increase. Good job. Come on. We're gonna wind it up a little bit more. Almost halfway. Up. Another 5. 10 seconds. Last 5. First push of a big wattage today. 2, 1, and easy. Back it off. Recover. We're gonna have a little easy pedal here for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, while I talk about the sets. Now, as I mentioned, Tour de Victoria, the way I like to think about any challenge or event or thing that we're going to do is by breaking it up into key parts. And I've talked to a lot of you about this before, but pick the event. Where are the places things are gonna happen? Or I'm gonna have to really be on my game. Or I'm gonna have to pay attention. However you wanna think about it. And this does come from racing, where you look at a profile, you look at a course, and you look at the gradients, and you look at the configuration of where that is in the event, and you make decisions and commit to at least maybe 3 different options of what you want to be doing at certain points, depending on what your I guess rollout is for the day, because sometimes you have a spectacular plan A that goes sideways in the first 5 or 10 kilometers, and you've got to come back to another idea. But one of the things you want to work on is having a plan and not just kind of going, oh, I'm just going to see how it goes, right? Now in Tour de Vic, we identify I've identified 5 places throughout the big old ride that I think is really key to be thinking about what you're going to do and paying attention at that point. And as we have more and more advanced, illustrious, whatever you want to say, goals, it's going to be more important to try and make these things happen. If you're really just trying to, get through it, just ride. There's some elements, they're still very, very important. Just knowing that's going to happen there. I'm going to try and dig in at that point. I'm hoping to be with people as I go over a crest of a hill. All of those things are still important if you're just trying to get through it. But as people are trying to ride better times, get better results as well, improve, because you guys are all very driven individuals. That's why you're here. We have to look at them and go, okay, I need to do this here, and I need to put that extra little bit of effort in for 20 seconds instead of waiting and letting it go so that I can have this scenario for the 25 kilometers after that. This hill that we're working on today is one of the last hilly crux points. And the reason it's so important is because right after it, you have 17 kilometers of downhill and flats, potentially wind. You want people around, you want to have friends, and so that's where we're trying to do a push over the crest of the hill to make that happen. The other thing with this hill, and it's Kangaroo Climb, the other thing with this hill is we go into it on a slope and the pace will pick up. All of us are pretty comfortable with going, I'm doing hill repeats today, and I'm going to go into it from like this. But what about if you're rolling into it, winding up, then it goes like this at 8%. We want to hold momentum, keep our cadence high until we have to really shift gears and, okay, now we're definitely getting on that hill. And then we got to stick with it. And then we're going to punch a little bit into the flat. And then we're going to do another hard pitch at the end over into, this would be the downhill. Okay? I'll talk you through it 4 times. We're going to start the first piece in 30 seconds. Have a drink of water. The first part, 2 minutes. You're starting at 60%. So we see the slope start to increase. We're starting to put a little bit of gas behind it. We're at our preferred cadence. Find that right now. Bring the gear up, 60%. And I'm going to cue you to build, holding that cadence. I'm going to cue you to bring up the wattage, bring up the effort, so that we're going up to around our hour power as we hit the hill. Okay? We're into the 2 minutes right now. Getting yourself comfortable, coming off the drills and the warm-up. Get that cadence so you feel like you own it. And this is one of the things that I find as people are taking that next notch up, getting more advanced. One thing that makes a big difference is learning to go into hills with momentum, not shift into easier gears too early, but to find that sweet spot where you're able to maximize your turnover of your pedals as you're feeling the hill come into your legs and your cadence is dropping, changing the gears. Okay, start bringing it up now. 1 more minute. So you're holding the cadence here. You know you're going into an 8% plus climb. 8% being steeper than I like. So keep pushing it up, pushing it up. Some people love super steep hills. Some people love the lower grade pushes. I say the lower grade pushes, there can be a bigger variation in the power people can output. That's why the tops of some big climbs are really hard. Okay, going into our last 20 seconds. Make sure you're at 70% for this one. Pushing it up to that hour power. We're gonna start the pitch right up to 85%. In 3, 2, 1. Hold this cadence for the first part. 30 seconds, holding your cadence. You're riding into the bottom of it. It's not the steepest part yet. Another 15 seconds. 85%. Generated at this cadence is hard. Okay, the hill's getting a bit steeper. Clicking a couple gears down. 80 RPM. 85%. Come on, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Best part of a minute still to go. Feel it through your feet. Keep that 80 RPM. Using a lot more strength to turn this around. Awesome, guys. Come on, stay on it. Stay on it. You've got a flat piece in the middle. We're gonna go from this to standing, getting on top of the gear. There's a little surge in the pace. We're just gonna try and keep connected to those wheels for the flats. In 5 seconds, you're gonna stand up. 3, 2, come on, get on it. Maybe with your friends, you may be with some not friends. You may be with some friends you thought were your friends, and apparently right now they don't feel like your friends. Over into the flat. Last 5 seconds coming up. You're gonna back the gear off to the flat. Pressure on the pedals, 2, 1. Back the gear off. You're at 60 to 70 output. Keeping that preferred cadence. Wherever you've learned that you can recover and turn the pedals around to keep contact. This hill is 2.4 kilometers long. It goes exactly like that. It goes steep, it goes low grade, into steep, into a flat, into steeper, over the top, into a downhill. Okay, guys, one more minute like this. Recover, recover. Keep that leg speed. You know what works for you. Closer to 90 is fine. Closer to 100 is fine. You just snugged into those wheels. 45 seconds now. Each set, I'm gonna ask for a little bit more from you on these pieces. This is the first one. 60% is okay. Anywhere 60 to 70. 30 seconds though. It's pitching up again. We're gonna be here, okay? 1 minute, 85%. This part is around 12%. I'm sure none of us like that number. I know I certainly don't. I like to be prepared. Gloria likes it. In 3, 2, 1, 80 cadence. Bring that gear up. 85%. Come on. It's only 90 seconds. But not doing this really cost you a lot, losing those friendly wheels. Come on, guys. Getting close to 30 seconds. Close to 30 seconds. Hold it right here. Using the strength to crush this gear. In 15 seconds, I'm gonna ask you to increase your cadence and pop it over the top to get into that downhill with everyone here. In 5. 5 RPM is fine this time. Here goes the push. Up, up. Come on. 30 seconds. Stay with those folks. 15. Come on guys, eyes up. Downhill, coming up. And you're gonna be on wheels. And it's gonna be great. 3, 2, 1. Back it right off. 3 minutes easy. Recover, recover. My main point in, I want to teach you to break things down, think of them differently. I think, I certainly did as well when I started riding a bike. I would look at a hill and it's just a hill. Wasn't thinking about all kinds of things. And then later on, I could look at a hill and go, okay, that part of the hill is a sweet spot. That's where I can really use my strengths. That part of the hill is going to be really hard for me. This is where I have to stick to a little plan that might not be what feels good, but that's because I know it's not my strong point. One of the things by getting into a steep pitch, you've done a minute of recovery. One of the things about getting into a steep pitch is that it's harder for people to really, other than the accelerators, harder for people to really generate a lot more power. You're probably in similar gears, but when you get to those 3, 4, 5, 6%, you're gonna find those people that can really churn up the power on that grade because they're not as much climbers as we would describe them. Very interesting in the Olympic course in Tokyo. A ton of climbing, but maybe not what you would call a pure climber's course. And that's an interesting thing when you get into all those little kind of fine details, because the climbs were actually much more suited to a good climber who is a classics type rider, but who could really deliver big repetitive power efforts when they're fully exhausted. For the men's race at 200 kilometers, the really hard work started. Okay, going into the next one. A little bit of a break there. We're gonna do the same thing. We're hitting the Kangaroo Climb, 2.4K, and we're going into it. We've come around a corner, and now we're going into it at a bit of a grade, just coming up 2%, 3%. So we're gonna start pushing into the pedals. Let's start doing that. Find the cadence again that you are comfortable at. Know that you're gonna be going into the bottom of the climb around the same cadence. I would probably have a drink actually right before this starts in real life and bring the gear up. 60% to start. Gonna bring you up a little bit more quickly this time. We'll go 60% the first minute. Pace is winding up. I'm choosing around a mid-90s cadence. Might be a little lower for you, might be a little higher. You do what feels the most efficient for you, delivering this early part. In 30 seconds, I want you to start now thinking about 70%. Bring in a little bit of gear in. On the bikes, the bikes, maybe click up a gear, hold the cadence. Really feeling that pressure coming in. Okay, 1 minute to go. A little bit more. Up, up. Want you to hit your hour power right at the bottom. This is you riding We've come through a lot of hills already by the time we get to this point. This is a real kind of crux point. Those of you trying to make the faster times, stay with one of the front groups. And after you've done this, you're going to get actually quite a bit of sitting in a group and getting yourself regrouped before the end. Okay? In 15 seconds. Base of the hill. Carry this cadence into it. Thinking about that? Hold the cadence. Bring up the gear. Here's the 8% climb. In 2, 1, you're on it. Come on. Awesome, watch those shoulders. Look for the good part of the road. Little things help you a lot. Look for space in case somebody flails in front of you. Want to be able to do your thing. But that could be a plan B if somebody does drop a gear. Okay, 80 cadence. You're on the hill proper now. 80 cadence. 85%. Push into this hill. Hard behind the feet. Best part of a minute's done. Almost halfway. Come on, guys. Keep doing a bit of self-talk. 30 seconds. Hold that 80 cadence. All you gotta worry about. Keep the power even. 15 seconds. Only about 100 meters till the top of this piece. Then we go into the flat. In 5. Getting ready to stand. 2, 1. Come on. Pick it up a bit. This isn't recovery. Eyes up. Taking it right into that flat. Awesome. Come on. Right into the flat. Middle of the hill. Once you're there, you've achieved half of the goal. Staying with your peeps here. In 3, in 2, in 1, flat. Come on, 90 seconds here. Some gear off. You made that push. So you can sit in the wheels. Regroup. Recover. Recover. You gotta keep the pressure against the pedals. Or you're just gonna go backwards. 60 to 70%. 1 minute to go. You drop the gear a little bit too much. Bring it back for me. Try and keep quiet. Have a little drink. Another good opportunity. Less than 45 seconds. If you're not there, let's just move up a little bit in our group. There's about 20 of us. Feel like a couple of people were maybe just struggling that first part. I don't want to be around them. I'm going to just push up into the front of the group a little bit more. Winding it up to 70%. Getting ready for that last pitch. 12%. Gloria's favorite, not mine. 5. 80 cadence now. Onto the hill. 85%. Come on. Push, push, push. Feel the hamstrings work. Feel the hamstrings work. If they're not, I doubt you're at your 85%. Come on, almost halfway. Just a minute to the downhill now. All in, a minute to the downhill. Come on. I know, pace feels hard. but you're gonna recover from it. You're gonna have lots of recovery. Hold on to this 80 cadence. Another 10 seconds. Okay guys, you're gonna wind it up. On my cue, 5 RPM, 2, 1, up, up. Come on, get it. A bit of that push. Found yourself the back of the select group. You wanna hang on. 10 seconds. Come on. Last 5 coming up. There you go. 5, 3, 2, 1. Easy, 3 minutes. So, as you're doing these, and then as you carry it outdoors as well, think about these elements, these concepts, when you're doing your rides. You're never going to ride every road in the world or every trail, although we try to. One day we'll get closer when we can travel again, but I guess we can already. But all of these things you can apply to your different roads. Always look for the good part of the road when you have the opportunity to. Sometimes you're riding over on the side of the road and it's just a few inches, but one side of the inches, it's rough and, you know, kind of broken up. And then just over, there's a nice smooth slick part that's been worn down by cars or whatever. And when we're talking about thousands of pedal strokes and hours of riding, all these things really make a difference. When you're off-road, of course, we think about it a lot more. We're always looking for the optimal lines, optimal terrain. Okay. Number 3, we're gonna do the same, but if you're feeling good through these, I want you to really strive towards the tops of these 2 pieces, going into it a little bit harder, which would be the reality of riding with a faster group, and maybe having to push a little bit harder in your recovery on the flat. Likewise, you find yourself, you're riding at plan A, and you're like, whoa, all right, I'm in a pretty good climbing group here. Stoked, right? But just like everything, it doesn't get easier, you just go faster. So just expect that the more elite group you're with is also going to be riding a little bit faster, even when they're going there easy. So that's where you've got to be smart. You've got to pick your positioning. But that's the fun part of the sport, really fun part of the sport. We're going to go again in 30 seconds. You're going to find your preferred cadence right now if you're not at it. Preferred cadence is going to give you that ability to ride over your 80% and into the harder ranges. 10 seconds, have a drink. Last 5 seconds, bring that gear up. 60% to find it, pushing it up to 70%. Those of you who are in a little faster group, riding, let's see, for Tour de Victoria, you're riding at around 4:20 pace. Whistler Fondo, that might be around 3, something under 4 hours. Anyway, that's what the reality is when you're trying to sit in. The sitting in just feels that much harder. Okay, you've done 30 seconds, 70% now, come on. 70%. Holding that preferred cadence. We still got over a minute to go. 3rd climb. Really good. Okay, a little bit of a breakaway group here, trying to push themselves off the front. If you want to be with that, get to your 75%. right away. See if you can do it with that start. Talked yesterday about the sprinting, how all the sprinters like to go into their explosive efforts from different kinds of scenarios. The ones that have the pure maximum power, practically from a standstill, want to force the other rider into doing that. The ones that want to go from a higher wattage output, have more speed endurance, try and push the rider to do it that way. Kelsey, who won the gold from Canada, is go harder off the front, push them out of their comfort zone, and then sprint. All right, 85%. Come on, this is the hill. 2, 1. Hold that cadence. Trying to hold it. Trying to go with the surge. Using the cadence to still generate the power. And then as you start to feel you're going to bog down, you're going to click that little bit of gear off, be down at your 80 RPM. And that's happening in 3, 2, 1. Come on, 80 cadence. Now you're muscling through the hill more. Still, keep that big push. 85%, come on. 45 seconds to go right here. Come on, keep it strong. Keep it strong, think you can, think you can. 30 seconds to go before we stand. Keep watching the shoulders. Come on, drive it. Push. All the way now, come on. There's that flat coming up after we stand. We're just trying to stay on that front group that made the attack. Come on, guys. Stand now. 30 seconds. Eyes up. Legs are burning. They should be. Come on. We're not looking right at the wheel, but we're sensing, we're trying to keep contact with it, with them. Come on, there's only 10 of us now. Come on. Push it a little bit right into the flat. 3, 2, 1. Sit down. There's the wheels. Recover, recover. Anywhere 60 to 70%. First a little bit. Preferred cadence. Come on, use your leg speed. Okay, this new part of the group that you're with is still a little spicy. You had that bit of a break. Push it up now. 70%. Come on. Harder this time. Harder. No lollygagging. You're just under your hour power. Using that cadence. Move the blood around. Keep the lactate at bay. 30 more seconds. Come on. Come on, ride it like you own it. Last 15 seconds. And there's the pitch. The nasty steep one. You've tucked yourself right into the front of this group. You're going to drop your cadence to 80. Bring it right back up to your 85%. Here we go. 1 minute from now. And feel that whole circle. Push it over. Really good, guys. Come on. Yes, we're suffering. 30 more seconds like this. The downhill's coming up. Proud of everyone being in there. Look around, keeps you honest when you see your teammates or your friends. Unless they're nose breathing, and then that's annoying. 30 seconds coming up. 5 RPM. Up, up. Come on. Push it right into the downhill. Second last time, come on. 85 RPM. Bring it up to 90. Another little push into the downhill. Last 10 seconds coming up. 10. Come on, all the way for me. All the way. 3, 2, 1. Downhill. Recover, recover. Hey, that's your best one yet. So those of you who do like watching bike racing, the Olympic races were certainly worth a watch. I think that the pretty cool things were the unpredictability that came out of it. And if any of you saw, because of course this did make all the cycling news, if anybody of you saw in the women's race, Van Vleuten, the Dutch girl, coming across the line. I've won the gold. Goes over to her manager. Actually, no. There's an Austrian girl that came across the line almost 2 minutes ago. So, no radios. What happens is instead of what you see when you're watching the Tour de France, and there's that constant in your ear, okay, this is happening, they're 10 seconds, they're 5 seconds, immediate communication on everything that happens. Now, you have to go back out of the peloton to the car, talk to your director, who is getting information in real time, but by the time you get back to tell your teammates what's going on, that could all have changed. So the teammates up the front have to be watching. And in both races, there was a breakaway that went right at the beginning. The men's race, it really was guys that probably weren't going to do anything. But later on, it became a battle of, there was a little bit of trying to stop Wout van Aert from winning. As we know from the Tour, he had won a time trial, a bunch sprint on the Champs-Élysées, and a double mountain stage. So kind of had everything in his repertoire to be able to win. It was very much suited to him. But what happened was Carapaz got away with last 30K or so, and they never managed to chase him down. So there was that. And the women's race, they actually miscalculated, did not know there was an extra woman up the road who dropped her breakaway teammates. And then she put the medal down, mathematician, PhD mathematician, did the math. Okay, I got 50K to go, and I'm 10 minutes up the road. I don't think they're gonna catch me if they don't get together and commit. 10 seconds, guys. Right into your 70% this time. Let's make this the final, hardest from your preferred cadence. 95 RPM-ish is where I am. Bring it up to my 70%. 2 minutes like this. Each time we've been a little harder group going into this hill. This time, it's a pretty good charge into the 8% portion at the bottom. 70% just below your hour power. Remember, the way they measure road cyclists' potential these days is how many really hard efforts they can make cumulatively, say during a 4-hour race or ride. So the measurement for men, 9 watts a kilogram, how many minutes you can ride at 9 watts a kilogram in a 4-hour event. Hopefully with a lot of that at the end. For the women, it's 7.5, and that's, if you do the math for yourself. So all these hard efforts, that's what we do in the sport. Okay, getting ready, guys. You've got less than a minute. Hold the 70%. That 80% effort, 85, and 8% grade is looming just ahead. This time we're with a little group of 10. There's no room with the smaller numbers to miss a beat. Everybody's done that in a group ride. It's going really hard and you look behind and there's no one there. So then you know if you actually relax at that point, you got no one to ride with. Here we go. Hold the cadence, 85%, 2, 1, up, up. Awesome. Getting into this first 30 seconds. Keep it going. Hill proper. Coming up in 5, 2, 1. Gotta shift those gears. 80 cadence. Up, up. Come on, guys. There's no sliding space here. You've got this small group. Focus ahead. Focus ahead. Keep the wheels. Make it an honest 85%. Nothing less is going to get you through this part with these other people. Come on. 20 seconds. Strong through the feet, guys. Come on. Push, push, push. Less than 15. Last 5. And get on top of it. Up, up. Come on, they're accelerating. They're accelerating. Pick up the tempo. Force yourself into it. Come on, guys. 15. Put right into that flat. Push this last little bit. Up tempo. 3, 2. Slide it back. You can go back as far as 60%. First little bit. Just the first little bit. With that little acceleration, you made it up into the group a little further. Got a little cocoon. But the pace is starting to hot up again. They're starting to push it. 1 minute. 70% now, come on. Bring it up. They're not giving you that relaxed. Or maybe you're doing it. Maybe you want to get to the next pitch first in the front. Come on. Trying to think we're comfortably uncomfortable. Way more uncomfortable than comfortable. Come on, guys. Is that steep pitch? Less than 15. Starting to bring the cadence down. All right, now, cadence down to 80, gear up, 85%. This is your last minute and a half. Setting the stage for your next 70K. Come on, guys. Get up this pitch. Push, 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 everyone. I'll give you halfway. Not there yet, come on. All right, halfway. Just hold it. Dig in now. Come on, all of us are in good position. Just gotta make it this last 45 seconds. Then you're on the downhill. Last time. This time you've made it. Okay, getting ready. It's a big one. 5 RPM. 2, 1, up, up. Come on, guys. Whole group is surging. It's not over yet. You gotta make it over the downhill if you want that cash ride. Come on, last 10. Everything you got left. 5, 3, 2, 1. Downhill. Good job. Recover, recover. Nicely done. Okay, soft pedal, back to anywhere, 3 out of 10, easier, whatever you feel like doing. That's your reward. And so for those of you thinking about the actual course for the Tour de Victoria coming up, these are all just things that you're going to pop into your head, can utilize at the time, but can very quickly be out of sight, out of mind when you just let things go a little bit. And it was just because you thought, oh, I'll do that later. That's lots of times it's just, oh, I'm gonna close that gap shortly. Getting around to that. That's gonna be my thing in a minute. And before you know it, it's not doable. So, just thinking about things like that. And this applies to all different levels. Okay, keep this nice easy turnover. I'm gonna sit up. Next crux point for these workouts will be another longer climb. And it's any of you who have ridden in Victoria, beautiful, beautiful place, but there's no flats. Very few flats, other than the one we just tried to get ourselves ready for out towards the airport. Everything else is rolling. It's amazing how, you know, you feel like you look at your meters gained during the event. And it's just funny. I never really thought I was going up for that long, but it really accumulates. Okay, for the workout, that's a wrap.